right, let's really dig into something fundamental today. We're diving deep into friendship, not just, as a side plot in stories. We're talking about where it's the real engine, the thing that shapes the characters, drives the whole narrative forward.
Yeah, it's fascinating how these stories, whether they're, fiction or maybe memoirs, they really get into the heart of platonic bonds.
Right.
They don't just show us what friendship looks like on the surface. They dig into why these connections matter so much, how they affect how we live, how we heal, and ultimately who we become.
Exactly. And our mission for you today really is to pull out the most compelling ideas from a collection of excerpts. We looked at 11 must-read books all about friendship, intimacy, connection.
Yeah.
And it's a real mix. We've got heartwarming YA stuff, those first big friendships. Then there are these deep, lifelong bonds, some lighthearted, some really, really thought-provoking adult relationships. So we're going to try and uncover what makes these friendships stick, how they change, and how they change us. So let's maybe kick off with stories about the strength of those early bonds, how they give us that first sense of belonging. First up, Anne Brashare's The Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants. I mean, everyone knows this one, right?
Okay, a classic.
Following those 4 teenage girls, the magical genes they share, growing together even when they're apart.
And what's really powerful there, I think it goes beyond just, staying in touch over distance. It really highlights the symbolic power of things you share. Objects, rituals, whatever.
The genes themselves.
Exactly. Those genes become this shared memory bank, a living metaphor almost. It lets the friendships not just last, but actually grow and evolve, even without being physically together.
Yeah.
It sort of teaches us that shared rituals can be just as binding as, being in the same room. Creates a kind of mobile home base.
That's a really great point. It does make you think about those little tokens or inside jokes in your own friendships, doesn't it? Okay, so building on that idea, discovering yourself within a group.
Yeah.
Let's look at Lynn Ray Perkins's Crisscross, the Newbery winner.
Right, Crisscross. This one looks at a circle of middle school friends, quiet 1970s town setting.
Mm-hmm.
And this book, it's subtle, but it really explores how the most ordinary, everyday interactions, they're actually where self-discovery happens.
Not the big dramatic moment.
Exactly. It's not about grand gestures. It's the quiet stuff, sharing necklaces, listening to songs on the radio, just daydreaming together. All these little things intersect in these sort of poetic ways. Crisscross really shows that friendship at that age isn't just about having fun. It's about slowly figuring out who you are, seeing yourself reflected in the people around you, finding yourself in that quiet hum of connection.
Absolutely. Yeah, those quiet moments often mean the most. Okay, so going from that quiet hum to maybe something more intense but still formative, we have Stephen Chbosky's The Perks of Being a Wallflower. Told through Charlie's letters, right? He finds acceptance, that crucial sense of belonging, with this group of older friends.
Yeah, and this brings up a really important question, I think.
Yeah.
How do some friendships become that chosen family we need, to heal and grow?
Mm-hmm.
Charlie's story shows how a truly supportive friendship can create that safe space you need to be vulnerable. It acts like a crucial support system for navigating really complex things, like grief, trauma.
Mm-hmm.
His friends don't just, accept him. They help him find his voice. They let him start on that path to healing and, becoming himself.
It's amazing how powerful those bonds can be, like a real lifeline. So, moving from that healing power of found families, let's explore friendships that maybe aren't just about comfort, but are more about this profound, sometimes turbulent shaping force. Elena Ferrante is my brilliant friend, set in post-war Naples, that incredibly complicated, decades-long bond between Lila and Lanu.
Oh, yes. What's truly fascinating there is how Ferrante captures the sheer shaping power of that relationship. It's like a crucible.
Yeah.
It really pulls back the curtain on friendships where you have this deep loyalty, but also intense rivalry, often side by side.
That tension.
Exactly. It shows how our deepest bonds aren't always, comforting. They can shape us profoundly through this dynamic of both adoration and envy. It forces us to define ourselves against our closest friends just as much as alongside them. It's raw, almost brutal sometimes. How intimacy can be both destructive and transformative.
Wow, yeah. That dynamic of adoration and envy, it feels very real for a lot of intense friendships. Okay, shifting gears a bit. Let's talk about unexpected bonds, the ones that bring really profound change. Frederick Backman's A Man Called Ova. It centers on Ove's solitary life, right? But it beautifully shows how he's transformed by his neighbors, these unlikely friends.
Right. This story is such a beautiful example of how connection can just pop up in the most surprising places and how it can radically change someone's whole outlook. Ovid's journey reminds us that even the most, closed-off people can soften up. And it's not usually grand gestures, it's the persistent, often kind of funny intrusions of genuine care.
Like the pregnant neighbor, right?
Yeah, who just relentlessly asks for his help. Or that scruffy cat who just refuses to leave his porch. It's these small, persistent acts of connection that chip away at his hardened exterior. It really proves that healing can find us where we least expect it.
It really is such a heartwarming book, that quiet revolution of connection. And speaking of unexpected solace, The Friend by Sigrid Nunez. It's this tender, quite unconventional memoir. The narrator loses a dear friend, a writer, and then inherits his Great Dane.
This book offers a really powerful, almost philosophical look at grief and companionship in its most, unconventional forms. It shows how friendship, whether it's human or canine, can provide this unique solace, this clarity during times of really deep loss.
The dog becomes a friend.
In a way, yes. The narrator's relationship with the dog becomes this space for processing, not just her friend's absence, but also his legacy, their shared intellectual life, all of it. It really demonstrates that connection can show up in all sorts of forms, and it can be an essential path through sorrow and reflection.
Those stories really highlight the surprising ways friendship can heal us. But okay, while many of these bonds are sources of strength, it's also true that friendships can unravel, sometimes in really dark ways. Which brings us to Donna Tartt's The Secret History.
Okay.
That chilling story about the group of classic students, their secret fellowship, bound by ambition, and this shared, dangerous obsession.
Right. And this story isn't just about secrets, is it? It's a deep dive into the corrosive nature of enforced intimacy and the psychology of group isolation.
How being so close can actually be dangerous.
Exactly. It starkly illustrates how the very intensity of those shared illicit bonds, paradoxically, it can be the very thing that makes them fall apart. Without, a moral compass or any outside perspective, even a really profound connection can become a trap, leading to betrayal and self-destruction, not genuine belonging.
That's a powerful, kind of unsettling thought. Makes you wonder about that fine line between intense connection and, destructive insularity. Okay, on a related note, another story where perceptions and loyalties get challenged, John Green's Paper Towns. Quentin and his friends go on that road trip to find the missing Margot Roth Spiegelman.
Yes, and Paper Towns really challenges that idea of idealizing our friends, putting them on a pedestal. Quentin's whole quest to find Margot, it ends up deconstructing his idealized image of her. It reveals the huge difference between the person we imagine someone to be and who they actually are.
Seeing the real person.
Right. The journey highlights that true loyalty often means we have to see our friends for their full, complicated selves, not just project our own fantasies onto them. It's a coming-of-age story about, authentic connection versus illusion.
That's such a crucial lesson. Authenticity in any relationship, really. Okay, shifting gears again, let's talk about friendships as absolute lifelines, especially when facing profound adversity. Alice Walker's The Color Purple, a literary cornerstone. Through letters, the sisters, Nettie and Cilly, they form friendships with other women that become just crucial.
And what's truly transformative here is how these friendships, this sisterhood, this female solidarity, they offer not just companionship, they offer courage, healing, and a profound sense of self-worth in these deeply oppressive circumstances.
They lift each other up.
Absolutely. These bonds are instrumental in helping Cilly find her voice, understand her own value, and ultimately navigate just immense challenges. It's such a powerful illustration of how women supporting women can be this, revolutionary force for empowerment and liberation.
It really is a powerful testament to strength and solidarity. And continuing with that idea of communication as a lifeline, but in a very different way. Cecilia Ahern's Where Rainbows End. It follows Rosie and Alex sharing messages, emails, life events over years and years of separation.
Yeah, this book brings up an interesting question about how long-distance friendships evolve, particularly this kind of epistolary bond one kept alive almost entirely through writing.
Letters, emails?
Right. Their connection navigates love, heartbreak, and that eternal question. Can friends become more than friends, or should they? It highlights how enduring these ties can be when they're mainly based on communication. It shows both the limitations, maybe, but also the surprising depth you could achieve when words are basically your main form of presence.
It's a really fascinating look at how connection can persist across huge distances and big life changes. Okay, finally, let's turn to a nonfiction gem that kind of helps us frame all these stories. Big Friendship, How We Keep Each Other Close by Emma Tussaud and Anne Friedman. diving into their own decade-long friendship.
Yes, and this book gives incredible practical insights. They actually define big friendship.
Hmm.
They describe it as this deep, committed bond that really resembles family, a bond you actively choose to invest in.
You have to work at it.
Exactly. Their stories, their research, it all emphasizes that sustaining these really true, impactful connections takes conscious effort, intentionality, consistent care. It moves beyond just, passive companionship to a conscious commitment. It teaches us that the most significant friendships are built and maintained through deliberate cultivation.
So, wow, we've covered a really vast landscape of friendship in this deep dive, from those intense, decades-long bonds like in My Brilliant Friend or The Color Purple, to the transformative, really unexpected connections you find in A Man Called Ove or The Friend.
And we've seen just how diverse friendships can be, right? From the communal experience in Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants or Crisscross, to those ties kept alive through writing, like in Where Rainbows End. Connection really doesn't have just one form.
Yeah, this deep dive has definitely showcased how friendship serves as that lifeline, offering courage, healing, acceptance, a path to self-discovery, like we saw so beautifully in The Perks of Being a Wallflower. And these stories, whether they're kind of dark and unraveling like The Secret History or a journey to find truth like in Paper Towns, they consistently underscore just how powerful friends are in shaping who we become and how we navigate, well, life's complexities.
And what's so valuable, I think, is how that nonfiction piece, Big Friendship, helps us put it all in context. Yeah. Defining those deep, committed bonds as big friendships, the ones that need active, ongoing effort to sustain, much like family ties.
So it leaves you thinking, doesn't it? In a world of constant change, constant information, what does it truly mean for you to invest in the big friendships in your own life? And what surprising truths might you discover about yourself and about others when friendship really takes center stage?